Okay, so I'm not sure if anybody's watching this live yet. Gotta admit, the first stream was it's a little bit embarrassing. I was trying to make it more interactive. I just wanted to go outside and kind of give you guys a show of the neighborhood. You guys can kind of see, just kind of like an outdoor scenario, just make it more a little bit better than just a random white wall. But I forgot that once Wi-Fi gets disconnected, that the live feed is obviously going to be disconnected. So yeah, I didn't really want to make the first live feed all about politics. So I was trying to veer that conversation into talking a little bit more about the topics of UFOs. And I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if there's. I'm not seeing anybody's chat yet. Can somebody try to comment to see if I can see your chats? Just want to kind of check this out real quick, make sure that everything is working properly. Ah, there it is. Enlightened self. Okay, perfect. Okay, so everything is working here. Okay, so here's something that I wanted to talk about. I was thinking of actually making an episode about this, but since I haven't tried this live streaming, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna live stream and maybe just talk about this in the stream. So the reason why I was talking about the whole like political thing earlier is because basically I was trying to build this backstory that this channel, like we've published like I think 88 videos, and it's just this idea that we're not being able to get any kind of support from YouTube itself, from the corporation that that we're giving them a service, that we're giving them videos for. And but then a channel like Secure Team, and I really hope that I'm not like insulting anybody. I watch Secure Team a lot, but it doesn't mean that I'm crazy for them. Uh, and the reason why I'm not so crazy about Secure Team is because he's just kind of like putting out like an episode like almost every other day, right? Just trying to like break stories. And Tyler doesn't seem to care too much in terms of the credibility of his stories. So, he'll put out a story, it might be completely bogus, like the football player levitating and him claiming that there's anti-gravity. He'll get paid hundreds of dollars for that video, and then he might give like a little apology afterwards and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But, he still has hundreds of dollars. And then other channels that are really dedicated into bringing the truth, we're not getting any kind of attention from YouTube. So it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. I think Tyler does break a lot of interesting stories. I love his thing about the booms. I think that's really, really interesting. And he's kind of spearheading that discussion. So I don't want to take away complete credit, but also, give him a little bit of credit too. But there was a story that he did recently, and I'm sorry to say this, and like I said, I don't want to offend anybody, but he was talking about this portal that like opened up in the sky, right? So I don't know if I can show other people's work in live stream, but basically what he showed was like he claimed that there was like a blue portal that opened up in the sky, right? And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because being like one of the number one channels in YouTube, I think it's really important that you also have a certain amount of integrity, that you don't allow your topics to stray too far from what is possible, because then that just not just hurting your own channel, but it's hurting the entire field of ufology. I mean, especially if you're spearheading, one of the number one UFO channels on YouTube. So, I'm seeing a whole bunch of chats here. It says, hello, Netherlands reporting. Hello, Felipe. So I just want to say hi back. So going back to the Secure Team. So I can't show his work. I don't know if I can show his work or not in live stream. So I want you guys to just go to Secure Team and go to his recent video on the blue portal. And when I saw that video, I yelled to my wife. I was like, oh my God, I guarantee you that was shot right in the morning. And just as I said that, like within a few seconds, Tyler was like, oh yeah, and it was reported like right at sunrise. And the reason why I know that is because I shoot drone shots all the time. I have like an FAA license. Like I even have like an FAA exemption to fly in a Santa Monica airport, So I have experience flying drones. I know what it's like to look at morning clouds. And I just wanted to explain exactly what that blue portal was, because I don't want you guys to be misled by misleading videos, that may not be real. So I'm just going to show you my personal video. So I don't know if you guys seen that blue portal video or not, but I'm just going to keep this live stream going here. So give me a second. I just got to sign in here. Okay, so this is my personal drone video. Okay, so in Tyler's video, what he had was he was claiming there was like this orange glow that was happening, it's coming out of the background with all this like it looked very foggy. Basically, it looked extremely cloudy, and there was just this orange glow, and then there was a little blue stripe that he was claiming was a portal. Okay, so Enlightened Celt said hello. What's up? C. James, what's up? Gerard, what's up? All right, so let me show you this video. So this is my own personal drone video. Oops, that did not work. Sorry, I accidentally pressed the button over here. I'm not used to this thing. Okay, here we go. So look at the light. Notice how the light is orange, okay? And then look over here. Okay, I'm gonna pause that real quick, and I'll try to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you saw Tyler's video, you saw that there was an orange light behind the clouds. You see how in the clouds, where there are clouds in the sun, where there's a direct sun hitting the clouds, well, that's going to diffuse the light, right? So when you diffuse the light, you get rid of the blue wavelength, so the light starts turning orange. However, if you have a clearing in the sky and you don't have direct lighting, then what you get is you get an ambient lighting that's essentially being penetrated through the clouds. So direct lighting through clouds is going to give you orange lights. If there's a clearing in the cloud and it's ambient light, that's going to give you blue light. And that's exactly what we saw in Tyler's video. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys, just because I think that's kind of bogus. He should have a little bit of integrity. Like I said, I don't want to completely like shit on Tyler because he does, do good work. But also, if he puts another video like this that it's completely bogus, I'm going to try to point it out because I think that's important. And I hope people do the same for me. I want people to point out the mistakes that I make. We're a community here. We're supposed to join our heads. We're supposed to join our knowledge, because what's happening here is what's obvious to everybody is the government's not going to tell us the truth. We're having to get most of the information. Even when Bob Bigelow came out, I mean, the first true like major disclosure type announcement from a big head, it came from a corporate CEO. It didn't come from our government. So if our government's not going to give the right information, then we have to trust each other. We have to be credible with one another, and as a community, we have to convince other communities, like the scientific community, or not just the scientific community, because there's scientific people who believe in UFOs, but the really hard-headed skeptic community. We have to eventually make a very credible evidence that this stuff is real. So, I don't know what else I wanted to talk about. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask just off the bat? Greetings from Germany. Real talk. We don't need the government, right? Yeah, I definitely want to make this stuff a lot more consistent. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had like a lot of personal issues that were happening, and it was pretty stormy for me. Let's put it that way. It wasn't going to be. I didn't see any silver lining in sight, but something happened. The clouds have cleared essentially a little bit. Has nothing to do with this channel. It's just something that's personal to me. But essentially, I should be able to spend more time on the channel now. I should be able to give more attention to you guys. Yeah, and I really want to make this channel like more user interactive. I want to be able to make more episodes about discussions that you guys are interested, as opposed to me just making up these random Bill Hicks episodes or whatever it is. I just lost the chat here. What do you guys say? Yeah, we all make mistakes. Da, da, da. Yeah, there's more than enough misinformation. Hey, what's up, Freddie? Freddie's a long time viewer. So, uh, Yeah, the money thing was giving me grief, but more so I was okay, look, I didn't say this in my last episode, right? Okay, you guys want real talk? Okay, imagine having multiple special forces, individuals texting you from different locations, different videos, different accounts, and essentially just giving you warnings. Like I had somebody literally write in my account that you pissed off the wrong people, you're on the list. I've worked in special forces. And not just that, but this individual was saying that he has 6 kids, that he likes my channel, he wants the best for me, but that he used to be the guy, he, as a special force individual, he used to be the guy that would kind of take care of this. That's kind of how he's applying. He's like, and I like you, man. Like, I want you to take care of your channel. So I was like, and that's not the first special force individual who claimed that they were like deep in the military who was giving me unveiled threats. And this is what I didn't tell you guys. I'm not even joking. Okay, the other day, right, I got in an argument with my wife, and I've never been so thankful to get in an argument with my wife because I ended up sleeping on the couch. Okay, and imagine like in the middle of the night, you just wake up, right, and there's a fucking person in your house. I'm not joking. There was a like a full grown man in my house, and I was shocked. I didn't know if he had a weapon. I don't know what was going on. So then I approached the individual, and he right off the bat he went to my kitchen of all places, right? Like so maybe he was a transient, maybe he needed food. I don't know, but I confronted him right away. He pretended to be drugged out, right? And then kind of just slowly just walked away from the house. So I locked the doors right away, called the cops, right? The cops did not arrive. They said they were like really busy that day and they just ended up not showing up. But here's the thing. So I thought, okay, maybe the guy is just a transient. He's just somebody who needed food or maybe was drugged out. Except that 2 days later, I'm having a production meeting with a few producers and I see the same guy walk right through my patio and he just makes eye contact with me in a very I'm not drugged out way. And I ran out of my house. I shit you not, I ran out of my house and the guy was gone, like super stealthy. So I don't know what the hell is going on. It just made me really fucking nervous. And sorry, I don't know if I was allowed to swear, but made me really nervous. And that's why I kind of backed up on some of this subject. Look, okay, I had this a video, right? Absolute best video I've ever gotten. It was basically a person who was claiming to have been abducted since they were a kid, and they apparently live in kind of like in the woodsy area in Colorado. And they right when they started getting that feeling that they were going to be abducted, this person booked out of their house and ran into the woods. Okay, pulled out his cell phone and started recording from the woods, and you literally see this like UFO like very slowly like going over the houses, almost like making a circle around his house, like almost as if it's examining to see if he's there. And the whole time the guy is like, oh my god, fuck. He's like swearing, putting videos. And I, as a I've told many people before that I work as a photo studio manager. I also work as an editor. I've color corrected feature films before. And so I'm used to seeing images. I'm used to seeing fakeries and CG work. Let me tell you, that video was not just how do you call it, like authenticated on the internet as coming straight out of his phone. There was no way that you could CG that. I mean, this not was that first of all the footage is coming from his phone, but secondly, it was like, it looked like one of those like glowing orbs, and then when you zoom in, it's a perfect rectangle, right? And look, I really, really wanted to showcase his evidence until I heard his story. Because his story told me that this kid might be not just abducted by UFOs, but possibly by special forces individuals, by military essentially. And then the more I talked to him, the more I realized that, because I also studied like psychology back in the day when I went to graduate school. Like I was going to be a psychologist. I ended up working in the social psychology lab, and so I've studied a lot of this type of like false memory implants, and everything that he was telling me sounded like a type of embellishment that you would make if you were. It's kind of like one of those like half truths. You kind of like take something that's half truth of you, and then you. Okay, so don't know what just happened there. My stream got cut off, but it looks like we're live again. So, uh, going back to that story, so I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that having a psychology background, it became very obvious very quickly to me that this guy, he possibly had his memory screwed with. And the moment I realized that this guy had his memory screwed with, and I realized that this abduction video is very real, and then I started getting all these threats. Well, then I started making Bill Hicks episodes. So I kind of want to apologize for getting off track. I feel like I just have to play one way or another. I can't just play this like middle fence and kind of play around. I just got to either go all in or not. And to be honest with you, I'm willing to kind of take on the threats. I'm willing to go all in because I don't, it's just something that I've always been passionate about. I don't really care about like trying to do anything like amazing. Like I don't want to be like super famous, or I don't want to like be super rich. I just want to have like a certain ethical life, and this channel helps me achieve that. So um anyways, okay, so unless you guys have any like particular questions, I guess I could run over a few commentaries that people made, which I thought were kind of cool. So JVC 123, he said it'd be awesome if you could do an episode on the CE5 initiative. I think it'd be awesome if you made shows like something like the Google Earth Anomaly Show, where people can search for the globe for anomalies and send the coordinates to you. Um, and can I be honest with you, JVC? I think that's an awesome idea. So if one day Second Earth does have a show or a section related to Google Earth anomaly, let it be known that it was JVC123 who gave Second Earth that idea. And also, I want to talk about the CE5 initiative. So for those who don't know what that is, I think that is a Dr. Greer term for like contact of the fifth kind, which is essentially allowing or doing things, whether it's through meditation or whether it's through communications, like using laser pointers. It's doing things to initiate the contact, as opposed to them initiating contact with you. You're initiating the contact with them. I'm really, really interested in this. I think there is a lot of like, I think it's real, man. I when I look at Dr. Greer's video, it totally looks legitimate. I've had individuals who've been there at the CE5 initiative who have emailed me before. So, yeah, CE5 is. Let me see if I can find the exact term for what the acronym stands for. Let's see, C5 initiative. Yeah, it just says C5 is a term describing a fifth category of close encounters with extraterrestrial intelligence. So, got encounters of the first kind, second kind, third kind. So C5 is just like the fifth kind where you're initiating contact. I think that's an awesome idea. I live in West Hollywood, so I'm not too far from the desert. And it's something that I've actually wanted to look. If anybody is in Los Angeles and they would be interested in possibly creating a CE5 initiative type trip to the desert. See, the thing is, if I did the Dr. Greer trip, right, I'm not sure if I could videotape it and then put it in my channel. I'm sure Dr. Greer probably has certain protections or certain copyright protections regarding his initiatives. So if he doesn't, I would love to go with Dr. Greer and make an episode about that. Maybe we can even, I mean, I don't think we can live stream from the desert, but we can definitely make an episode about that. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that this CE5, like I said, I think it would be a really interesting idea. If it's if Greer would allow me to make an episode or multiple episodes about it, I would definitely would love to go on a trip with him. If he wouldn't, then I would probably I would love to take individuals, the people who live around Los Angeles, create a group, a tight-knit group of individuals to go to the desert. Maybe we can camp out there and then just try our own initiative. Maybe we can have a listen to some meditative music. Talk about some positive, nice, positive energy stuff, things that, you know, I think part of the C5 initiative, why it's so related to meditation, is because part of the belief of Dr. Greer, and I don't subscribe to this belief 100%, but part of his belief is that most of the ETs are benevolent. And so the ones that are going to contact you through a CE5 type initiative, generally they're only going to be receptive to a certain like vibrational energy. So if you're stuck in like earthly matters, if you're stuck in like things that don't matter for like community, if you're just like a selfish Instagrammer or something, those things. Oh God, now I feel like bad because I'm live streaming. But okay, the the point is that you do have to have a certain like positive vibrational level to be able to contact higher beings from this perspective, from Dr. Greer's perspective, that most of these extraterrestrials are benevolent. My opinion is that a lot of these extraterrestrials are not benevolent. I think they can be very destructive, just like humans. The humans are going to be able to travel to the stars in probably a shorter amount of time than we think. I mean, we're already mathematically being able to calculate like how to do warp drives. So, Grid talks a lot of bullshit. I think he's not, but yeah, a lot of people are feeling that too. Yeah, so I do think that the thing with species, right, is all species, they take care of themselves, right? Like myself, right? I'm going to take care of myself first, then I'm going to take care of those closest to me, like my wife, my pets, then I'm going to take care of my family, then I'm going to take care of my neighbors, then I'm going to take care of my community, and then maybe if I have enough time and energy, I can think about the entire world, all of humanity. And then even if we get that, then maybe I can think about a different species. Like the thing with us is like I do eat meat, so I have a problem. I'm kind of being hypocritical when I say this, but we have like we killing like 20 million chicken a day. And I just like read the other day that chickens like purr like cats. So we have an animal that has a certain emotional intelligence that, we associate as with our pets as something that we would never want to harm. But when you look at those like chicken factories, they're hanging down like it's freaking Auschwitz, So we're not really perfect, even though we like to think that we're very perfect beings as humanity, we're not. And I think other species are going to be very similar. The way that we treat chickens, how do we know that we're not their chickens? So that's my opinion about this whole situation. I feel like the ones that have negative tensions might be more likely to be working with our military. They might be more likely to be visible. Okay, so yes, it felt like I was abducted. I don't know why I got interrupted, why this stream keeps getting interrupted. I have very strong Wi-Fi signals. Everything should be fine, but it's our first time using this, so we'll figure out the technology in time. I guess last time we were talking about the Stephen Greer CE5 initiative. One thing I like to say is that if anybody wants to build like a group of dedicated individuals to go out in the desert, for anybody who lives in Los Angeles, just shoot me an email at eafiles.contact@gmail.com, and yeah, and maybe we can set up a group. I think it'd be a really cool idea. Can bring, I got like 2 or 3 cameras, so we can bring equipment. If anybody has an infrared camera, that'd be pretty sick. So, East Coast, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna just keep going down the frequently asked questions that I got from you guys last time. So it says here. So it says here, what if the higher knowledge is the forbidden fruit the Bible speaks of? When I first got into this research, I got into a lot of the biblical research, trying to figure out some of the Old Testament type stories, especially about like the Adam the Adam and Eve story, and the one about Lilith, which is a reptilian, non-human like creature that offered the apple to Adam, the apple that was the fruit of knowledge to, not to Adam, offered it to Eve, and essentially, I think Lilith is in like two out of the four variations of the Adam and Eve story. So there are different variations of the story, but I do think that there is definitely something regarding this fruit being like a symbolic representation for higher knowledge. And perhaps that is when we lost, because I think they said that once we bit into the fruit, we lost our, I think we gained clothes, or it said like we were embarrassed about being naked. So there's definitely some kind of analogy about us losing like some kind of connection with nature. And then possibly like in the age of our agriculture. Um, One thing that I always thought was really interesting about the apple, right? Because I think a lot of this like things that we think are just symbolic that's coming from the Bible, sometimes they actually have like a deeper meaning. For example, I did an episode where I talked about the numbers 666. And if you apply the number 666 in a very simple sine plus cosine function, you can actually get the negative golden ratio. And then you can also, if you reverse the numbers in this function, you can also get the number zero. So that's like a really strange connection that doesn't make sense for 66 just to be a random number. It seems like there's some kind of mathematical meaning. And the usage of an apple, right? Have you guys ever split an apple in half and looked inside the apple? It's kind of it. Oh, Rachel says hi. Hi. Don't get religious. Keep it scientific. I'm not gonna get too religious. I'm getting scientific here. So you chop the apple in half, right? What's inside an apple? You get a core, and if you look at the core, it's a perfect pentagon, right? And I don't know if you guys know about sacred geometry or anything regarding that type of knowledge, but a pentagon is like so the pentagon is the perfect golden ratio shape because it can essentially be deconstructed into an infinite amount of golden ratio triangles. So the fact that when you split an apple in half, it gives you this core that looks like a perfect pentagon. It makes me wonder if the apple was purposely chosen as the symbolic fruit of knowledge because of the sacred geometric symbols that they might have been interpreting with the core. I don't know. It's just something that I think is possible. Um, okay, so moving on here. I'm not seeing you guys' messages for some reason. Let's see. Okay, so uh, Terrence Jones says here, I'd like to see you do a call-in with a focus of hearing people's stories about seeing alien beings. Um, when I started this channel, I got really taken back by the amount of abduction cases that were coming to me. I was shocked, to be honest with you, how many people were essentially having these experiences. Um, I have uh, I have somebody in my that's very close to me. Okay, somebody who works in a very high profession, and I don't want to give away too much detail about this person because I don't want people to figure out who it is. But this person has been abducted since the age of 5, and they have like their own like practice. Like this person is like a very professional person in at their field. So the fact that this person is telling me they've been abducted by the age of since the age of 5, um, of all the people that I know, I trust this person probably more than anybody else. Um, so yeah, I'll just leave it at that in terms of the alien abduction scenario. So definitely, I would want to have people calling in and telling me the stories. I was, like I said, taken completely back by the amount of abduction cases that came in, but also like I had all these different individuals who were giving me all these cases, and they just were different from each other. I mean, these not different from each other. They were completely similar to each other, but the individuals were different. Like the individuals had no contact with each other. They had no knowledge of each other. And imagine I'm getting like a flood of emails, right? And I'm reading each email, and their stories are just like matching. I mean, so specific to the point of describing the exact side of the nostril to which the tube is being injected and being pumped with materials. I mean, you can't get more specific than that. So yeah, I think Terrence, that's a great idea. I think if I can ever figure out this technology, like this live streaming technology, the phone-in technology, I think that's a great concept for the show to have people call in, and then just to have it, instead of just having me ramble on and on and on about all these topics, have the viewers talk about it, have them talk about their own personal experience, and then Second Earth becoming a portal for the rest of the viewers. I think that's a great idea. So. All right, it says here the abduction videos were amazing. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad somebody liked it. It's not funny. I was terrified. Yeah, it's a very, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but then like 3 days afterwards, the alien abduction, what's it called? Australian Skies too. Look, I saw that Secure Team was gonna publish some documentary called Australian Skies. I didn't know that it was gonna be like exactly about alien abductions, and I didn't know it was gonna have that type of specificity that it had. So that really shook me a little bit. It took me back and realized that whoa, we're getting confirmation here, kind of like a form of independent confirmation for these stories. So that was cool, man. So yeah, I would love to do that. Um, what else we have here? So, oh, you know what? Peter Kerr, this isn't really a question, but he just said like a nice message. And I thought this is kind of cool to share because I think it's something that can apply to a lot of people. But he says, "You look a lot less stressed, and I hope that you are. I've been through times where I was working on a dream. Sorry, I'm going to take off my glasses now. I put these on because I've never live streamed and I get a little bit nervous doing so. He says, you look a lot less stressed. I hope you are. I've been through times where I was working on a dream job only to have my family and in-laws asking when I was going to get a real job. Even though I was loving what I was doing and had created my own job and eventually was making twice as much money as my critics, I know how frustrating that can be. Creative people can have dreams which others can't see until they're shown, and then the creative person gets the rewards as they unveil their creations or discoveries. One of my best friends, he's the lead singer for the band Shy. You guys might know their song. It's called "If I Ever Fall in Love." It was a long time ago. It was like a '90s band. But Carl Martin, this lead singer, he told me almost the exact same thing, that his parents were completely against the concept of him becoming a band. They just didn't believe in him as a musician. And then eventually, I think he won like a gold album. He got nominated for the Grammys. So he talked a lot about that. The respect for his work only came afterwards. So I thought that was a really cool message. I think that's something that anybody who's trying to have, I know there's a lot of people who've contacted me who are doing their own UFO channels. Definitely hold on to this statement. People are going to come down on you, and it's important that you just persevere past that and don't let critics put you down, because what you have ultimately in your vision, it's your vision because nobody else sees it. It's yours. So make sure you keep it for yourself. So I love that comment. Just want to share that. Uh, you guys are awesome. I love the fact that people are actually commenting. I'm not being able to look at the comments all the time, but I do appreciate that you guys commenting. So it says Donna Burskirk asked, "Have you ever heard anything about clouds that do not act like clouds?" Um, yeah, I think this is very common in ufology. I know you have like certain cloud formations, like what's it called, rectilinear. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the word, but there's a specific term for a cloud that rests on top of a mountain that has a particular disc shape, right? So that mountain, that type of cloud is not going to be a UFO. So there are clouds that look like UFOs, but I definitely think just like there's certain technologies related, future technologies that we know about that are going to be related to bending light around. Perhaps a civilization is using a different type of disguise. Maybe they don't have the light bending technology, but they have the mist creating technology where you create a cloud and disguise yourself in the sky. Um, So I don't know. I'm kind of just throwing a whole bunch of guesses here. I think that's a it's a really broad topic and it's hard to kind of nail it down. But I do believe that there's both clouds that look like UFOs and then UFOs that use cloud-like formations to disguise themselves. Um, okay, so it says here, since the picture of Earth doesn't exist, do you think these people are lying? Um, so I guess this goes on to the whole flat Earth arguments. I absolutely do not believe in the flat Earth argument for 1 second. Um, I don't even know if I believe in the moon conspiracy. I feel like we have been up there. I understand some of the arguments about this Van Allen like belt and like nothing gets past that unless it's robotic. So I'll say this about the pictures of Earth. I think a lot of it is a practical issue. I think you know, I don't know. Let's put it that way. I don't know. I don't know why there aren't more pictures of Earth. Um, but I don't think that it has anything to do with flat Earth. I think the world is perfectly round, and I guess for the whole moon, whether that was fake or not, we can say that for a different episode. It's just I'll tell you this: the moon tapes are gone, so that's weird. Why would the moon tapes be gone? I think Stanley Kubrick was hired to possibly shoot on a moon set, though I don't know if that was meant to be for the actual like staging of the moon landing, or if that was kind of like a plan B in case something horrible were to happen. Like let's say, you know, there, let's say the moon mission failed, and let's say it failed in a horrendous way, and they had to disguise that. Um, I've looked at some of the videos of the moon where they claimed it was a hoax, and I just didn't buy the arguments. So that's why I'm kind of waving back and forth between this argument. So I'll just give you a big I don't know about that, about why certain images are CG'd of Earth. It does seem a little bit strange. So I want to believe that we went to the moon, but the arguments are so strong about that. Yeah. Um, okay, so moving on. Paper Crane Wishes says, have you ever had your own abduction experiences? Have you seen a UFO, man in black, officials, or other strange people questioning your research? Yeah, well, I guess if you caught the early aspect of this live stream, we did talk about like the different threats that this channel has gotten, and the individual who I did find inside my house. Whether that has anything to do with the threat or not is I don't know. I just know that I saw the individual 3 days later. Um, have I had my own abduction experiences? I have not. I don't. The things that people describe typically like loss of time. Just the typical descriptions that relate to alien abductions. I haven't had anything related to that. I've had like experiences where I could say like I had like maybe astral projection experience, and that happened like a couple times in my lifetime, but never alien abduction. And then as I told you earlier, I do know somebody very personal to me who has had an alien abduction experience. So not from me directly, but from somebody I do know. And have I seen Men in Black? I have not seen Men in Black. I've just been kind of threatened indirectly by people who claim to be special forces. And so, yeah. All right. Yeah, it says here the threats are probably trolls. It's possible. It's possible. It could be somebody who's making a false claim about special forces. I mean, sometimes you can tell like trolls from when somebody's being like legitimate. I mean, I can't say you can tell that because Google just came out with that new avatar like artificial intelligence thing that tricked people. But look, I can say that it just felt real. It felt like this person was being legitimate with me. I'm not gonna know for certain, but to me it felt very real. So I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, man. I mean, Freddie's saying they're afraid that your channel is going places. The one of the threats from one of the guys, he was claiming that it was that I had hit the wrong button, or I had essentially like really pissed off the wrong people, and he was saying that I was kind of in a list of like people that they don't like. And then he also talked about death by radiation. He like literally just wrote that, death by radiation. So I don't know if he meant like death by like radioactive like substance that you put on somebody's food. That's why I got freaked out when I saw that guy in my kitchen of all places. Um, or if when he says death by radiation, if he's talking about like some kind of sonic weapon, like the one that happened in the embassy in China. So I don't know. I just know that he was saying death by radiation, and that he was claiming that as a special force individual that he was going through similar, almost as if he had done things like this, that he had actually like hurt people or shut people down. I don't know. That's the impression I got, but. Sent you a UFO pic about 1.5 years ago. It was real. RS. Could you send me an email today, just with the subject RS, and I'll take a look at your image again. Sometimes I get emails, and I gotta be honest, I gotta be a little bit better with my emails. I ended up like losing one of my emails, and I was really upset about that. So I do apologize for those who tried to contact me and I haven't contacted back. I think now that I have a little bit more time, I will be a little bit more responsive with my correspondence. So, and what else can we talk about today? Yeah, and as you guys noticed, the lava volcano, it's pretty intense. I mean, this is kind of like a natural phenomenon that's happening with Hawaii. The oldest Hawaiian islands are the ones on top, and the newest ones are the ones that are going south east. So the fact that this volcano is in the very south tip of Hawaii makes sense. It's just a natural process of that lava pool coming up. But the thing that makes it unique about this like lava volcano is that it's a little bit they're not sure when it's going to stop. Uh, so it's, I was looking at recent news reports and they just don't have any kind of estimation. So who knows who knows how long this is going to last? If it's going to create more damage to a greater area than just the southern whole big Hawaiian island. So I don't know. Okay, well, it looks like I'm running out of topics. So I've been talking for about 47 minutes, minus a few interruptions. So I think I'm going to log off soon, unless anybody has any like last questions that you guys really want to know. What's the plan for the channel in the future? So I guess what I want to do with the channel is I want to make it a lot more consistent. So one of my goals is to set up a schedule, whether it's a weekly or bi-weekly schedule, just to set up episodes. And I want the structure of the episodes to be a lot more consistent as well. So I want to have like different, like we have the remote viewing section. I'm thinking of possibly having like a debunking section where we debunk ridiculous UFO videos, just to, just to keep like certain information in check. But if you guys have any suggestions, please send me an email. After this live stream, anything that we talked about in the live stream that you guys want to follow up, just send me an email and just type live stream on the subject, and I'll make sure to read those emails and be very responsive to them. Since you guys were here and were cordial enough to spend your time listening to me, obviously I would like to, reciprocate that. So, I would love to see a video about the Anunnaki. Yeah, I think that could be interesting. You know what's kind of a cool story about the Anunnaki? I'll try to kind of like deliver this real quickly, but I was in a bar, and then I used to smoke cigarettes, and I was smoking a cigarettes, or I was wanting to smoke a cigarette, and I didn't have lighter, so I turned to the guy next to me and I say, "Hey, do you have Prometheus?" And he goes, "What?" And it was a joke. Prometheus is the god who stole fire to give mankind, or the demigod who stole fire from the gods to give to mankind. So it was just kind of like a joke. He was like, "Do you have Prometheus?" And he goes, "Why do you ask me if I have Prometheus?" I was like, "It's just a joke." He goes, "Oh, well, do you know that I'm the head effects artist for the film Prometheus?" And I was like, "What?" And it was really weird because I was actually working on a script at the time that dealt with the Anunnaki, and he was giving me information about the film. Probably he had a non-disclosure agreement. He probably gave me more information than I was allowed to know. But he was talking about the Anunnaki, and sure enough, that came out like months and months later. I think the Anunnaki would be a really interesting topic. What happened to the Sumerians? Why did they have the city of Ur, which was a city that was dedicated only to their gods? Why are their oldest figurine statues? Why are they holding babies? I mean, that seems not to be symbolic. That seems to be more naturalistic, more like a physical representation of the beings. So I think that could be interesting. Yeah, I'll take a look. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna close it off here. So, if you guys have any other discussions or any other questions that you want to talk about, just email me at eafiles.contact@gmail.com, and just make sure you put in the subject line live stream so I know that it's you guys who listen to this live stream. So, thanks for joining me. This is Felipe Zero, and I am signing out. Take care, guys.